So I will discuss how age of child was measured in the NSECE. Age of child is a key construct in the NSECE. It was included in all files, and it was reported in all surveys. It is important to understand age of child because the meaning of certain constructs may vary depending on the age of the child, and also because the way that age of child was measured differs across surveys and also within surveys, both in the way that it was measured and in the way that it was processed after a data collection ended. In the first survey is the household survey, and here we measured age of child in terms of year and months, not just years, for all children or each child under age 13 in the household. When we talk about age of child at the household level, we think of a characteristic of the household and therefore household composition. And here the variables available are the presence of children of specific ages, such as whether the household has any child under the age of 5, and also the number of children of specific ages. In this case, following the example, the number of children in the household that are under age 5. In the center-based survey, the key distinction here is between age groups and age categories. This is an important distinction because age groups correspond to the way that age of child was reported by the center-based respondent, while age categories corresponds to the analytic categories constructed by the NSECE team. The reason for this distinction is twofold. On one hand, we gave maximum flexibility to the center-based respondents in terms of reporting how they group kids in their center. And they were allowed to give up to 6 different age groups. And we did not impose the particular age categories, but rather they reported age of child in the way that it actually happens in the center. And age categories, on the other hand, was a way for us to standardize and create uniform categories across different centers that will facilitate the analysis. So, in the case of age groups, as I said, each center-based respondent was given the option to provide information up to 6 different age groups, and for each of these age groups, they provided the lower bound and the upper bound, and in some cases, they mention numeric categories, numeric bounds, such as 15 months to 24 months, for instance, and in some cases they were alphanumeric, such as we have the toddlers here, or we have the Head Start classroom here, followed by the pre-K classroom there. And in some cases there were overlaps between these age groups, such as up to 60, including 60 months, and starting at also 60 months to 72 months, for instance. And in some cases, there were even gaps, so they would serve 0 to 3-year-olds and 5 and older, without serving 3 to 5. Again, to repeat, the center-based respondents were given maximum flexibility in terms of how they provide the information. In terms of analysis, then, we converted those age groups into age categories that had numeric upper bounds and lower bounds. They were detailed into 7 different age categories that could be aggregated into 3 and 2, and they were standard. They were reported in standard units, which are months of the age of child. All the categories were mutually exclusive, there were no overlaps, and they were all inclusive, covering the whole age range. Therefore, we had to go ahead with the process of converting age groups into age categories, and that process involved 3 different steps. The first one was assigning numeric lower and upper bounds in months for all reported age groups. The second one was mapping age groups to age categories, and the final one was calculating enrollment by age categories. In the case of the workforce survey, workforce respondents were asked if the age group reported in the center-based survey was also the age group that they work most often with. If it is, if they said yes to that answer, to that question, the mapping of age groups into age categories used for the survey, the center-based survey was also used for the workforce survey. If not, workforce respondents were asked to identify the age group that they work most often with. And they did that into 3 predefined age categories. Those are infant and toddler, which covers birth to age 3, preschool, which covers age 3 to kindergarten, and school age, which covers kindergarten and older. So while the center-based survey has up to 6 different age groups, the workforce survey has 1 age group. It is important to know that the level of aggregation in the center-based survey and the home-based survey is different. As I mentioned before, in the center-based survey, there are up to 7 different detailed categories, which are listed in the slide. In the home-based survey, age groups, the age of the child is coded and reported into 3 different categories: under age 3, 3 to under age 5, and school age. An important aspect of the home-based survey is how age of child was measured slightly different in the small home-based providers versus the large home-based providers. In the public use data files, age of child is reported in the form of large home-based providers, and that is the 3 age categories that I just mentioned: under age 3, 3 to 5, not yet in kindergarten, and school age, which is kindergarten and up. In the case of the small home-based providers, survey respondents were given the option to report the age of each child that they take care of. And the age of that specific child is included in the restricted use data file. In the public use data file, we created homogeneous categories between small and large, so therefore all home-based providers have age of child reported in those 3 categories. There is also a slight difference in terms of how kindergarten information is reported and what is available. In the case of small home-based providers, the information regarding whether a child was in kindergarten was not available, so we made some assumptions. So all children 5 years of age were considered in the school age category. In the case of large home-based providers, the kindergarten information is part of the predefined categories, such that the 3 to 5 does not include kindergarteners, and the school age include kindergarteners and up. So that's the brief introduction to age of child.